We'll first open it up for questions for the student athletes, and then we'll dismiss them, and then we'll open up for Coach Haase.
Reed, talk about your big game. You were one, rebound away from a double-double, 29 points, 9 rebounds. You did all that being aggressive and only had 2 fouls. Talk about that.
Yeah, definitely. I felt like my teammates did a great job of establishing me early, hitting me when I was open in the post. And coaches were talking about we had to be big in the paint. So before the game, I just knew that I had to draw a lot of fouls and get us some bonus, get us to the line early, and get our rhythm going. So when my teammates helped, that really helped me get going.
How did he prepare you all for the atmosphere, knowing that he's played here and knowing what the environment is like?
Just explaining to us that we have a lot of experience on this team. I don't think he needed to do too much. It's going to be loud or it's going to be rocking, nothing like that. We have a lot of veterans on the team that we played in games like this before. So we were poised and confident coming into the game.
What did you think of the environment?
It was great. It was great. I mean, it's one of the better arenas that I played in before, so it's definitely top notch, and I had a lot of fun.
Surprised to hear your coach get such a long standing ovation.
No, not at all. I mean, right when we got off the plane, people were running to shake his hand. So, like someone was telling me on the plane ride over here, he's a legend. So definitely saw it with the ovation.
So you were 19 of 22 from the foul line. Can you just talk about the satisfaction you take after all the work you put into that part of your game?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a big piece of my game last year and the year before. I struggled with it. So last spring and summer, I really made that an emphasis to really work on my foul shot. So it's just nice to see it come to fruition with making it like that. And I'm pleased, but it can still get better.
Did you have an idea you were getting a lot of guys in foul trouble? Had 3 guys with 4 fouls, like at the under 8 timeout.
Yeah, I mean, I enter every game with that mindset. If I can get my man 2 quick fouls in the first half, he's got to sit, they got to bring someone else in. And it just ruins teams' rotations. If I can get their bigs in foul trouble, then they got to find different ways to scheme and do stuff like that. So that's always in my mind, is trying to get guys quick fouls.
And Mike, what was the toughest part about defending Kansas tonight?
I thought we had a really good game plan. I think they hit some threes, which was difficult, but I wouldn't say there was any one thing that stuck out. I just think it's overall as a team, we didn't execute as well as we needed to, but we'll figure that out and bounce back.
Reed and Michael, it seemed like early on when they were throwing the ball down into the paint and into the post, you all were able to collapse on them and keep them from kicking the ball out to the perimeter. Did you sense a point where that they changed their ball movement and they were able to open up guys on the outside?
I mean, yeah, I mean, every team adjusts. I mean, they'd be silly not to. So when we were bringing the double team, maybe they started telling guys to flash or to cut harder on the opposite side. But that comes down to us, too. We have to adjust as they adjust, and we got to start cutting off passes and close out harder. So they definitely did.
What do you all take away from this game?
Go ahead, Mike.
I think that we can play at a high level. We have to do it for 40 minutes, which we didn't do today, but I think, like Coach said after the game, we're confident in ourselves that we can be a high-level team, and at the end of the year, when we want to play our best basketball, we'll be playing at the level we need to.
Any other questions for the student athletes? All right, guys, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Now I'll open it up for questions to Coach Haase.
Coach, what was it like, obviously, coming through that tunnel, like I talked to the players, being back home, so to speak, and then talk about, if you would, Reed's play today?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly an emotional day. My emotions right now are more, frustrated that we didn't perform at a higher level, but I am also very proud of the way the guys performed. But for me personally, it's, it means a lot, the reception and the relationships and the experiences I had here. Reed, he's a monster. He's a monster, and it's fun. He's an easy guy to cheer for. I told somebody today that the Kansas fans will appreciate Reed Travis. He does everything right. He's a workhorse. He's a high character person. The way he handles his academics, the way he handles his personal life, the way he handles his day-to-day things, let alone the basketball side of things. But I really thought going into the game that Kansas fans would really appreciate him, because I've always said Kansas fans are very knowledgeable, and I think they probably left the game today with an understanding that he is a heck of a player.
Jerod, anything jump out that was maybe something you didn't expect emotionally, somebody you saw or somewhere you walked in here, anything like that?
I don't know that there was one moment. There was There was a number of people that some I've kept in touch with, some I haven't. But I think the overall feeling, I remember clearly walking in Allen Fieldhouse when I was first recruited to Kansas, and that feeling. And I think I'll probably remember the first time at shoot around today at 9 a.m. when we walked into the arena and just seeing what it looks like. The Fieldhouse looks phenomenal. It has a little bit of different feel, to be honest with you, than when I played. But they've done a great job keeping it up, making it pristine, and the sound on the scoreboard works well too. It gets pretty loud.
I think Coach Self said leading up to the game that you would be the most loved coach in the building. Do you feel that way?
Well, needless to say, I feel like there was a warm reception, and the Jayhawks tend to take care of their own, and that was phenomenal. But I think everybody in this room and everybody in the state of Kansas understands that Bill Self is beloved, as he should be, and is really doing a wonderful job with the program. So I understand that, and I love that, and just to be able to get people that not to boo me that first time out was great, and but the reception really meant a lot to me.
How much has Reed progressed at the free throw line? Like he said, he worked on it, and how big a key was that for you guys today to try to get their bigs in the foul trouble?
Well, and whatever the biggest word I can think of, distance-wise, is here to China. But what he's done with his free throws and his shooting is unbelievable. For him to make 19 free throws last year would have taken probably 50 or 60 attempts. And so for him to be able to do that in 22 attempts speaks volumes for his character, and for somebody to change their shot in college is a very rare thing. When you take my 10-year-old son, I think that's something we can change his shot, and I need to, by the way. But for a college kid, very, very rarely does somebody go to college and you can take their shot, break it down completely, especially during the summer when we have such limited time with them, and say, here's what you need to go do it. And for him to revamp it like that's pretty impressive.
Jerod, what do you think of Mason and Graham Graham the first half?
Pretty good. I mean, it's needless to say they're getting a lot of accolades, and they should be. They're a phenomenal backcourt. They have the combination of shooting, decision-making, ball handling, quickness, toughness. As a coach, those are the things you certainly look for, and I think they epitomize that right now.
Are there any teams that you'll face in the Pac-12 that are similar to Kansas in terms of the way that they shoot the three from outside, and shoot from outside in general?
Yeah, candidly, I don't know yet. It's my first go around, and I've spent a lot of time on this team and our next games coming up, and so I think there are some really elite level teams in the Pac-12. But in terms of what they do best and how they shoot it, or kind of their characteristics, I probably can't speak clearly on that yet.
What made defending a three-point shot so challenging today from what you saw?
Yeah, we had a clear goal of keeping the ball out of the paint, and we were trying to do that in the first half, and the first 6 of the first 7 threes were in transition and out of bounds plays. And so we actually did a decent job in our half-court defense of really getting in tight, making pitch out, and then trying to have one-directional help and be able to challenge threes from there. Bad shots and turnovers led to transition, so they got 4 threes out of transition, and then again a couple out of the out-of-bounds plays. But against high-level guards, you can sit out there. There's no doubt in my mind we could take away all the three-point shots in the world, but you're not going to take away all the dribble penetration and dunks at that point. And they're a good team for a reason. We played St. Mary's on Wednesday. They're a really good team for a reason, because they're not one-dimensional. They have the ability to get to the paint. They have bigs that can score, and they have on dump downs and post-ups, and they have perimeter players that can light it up. So it is difficult against good teams, but I think that's an area of growth for us potentially as well, because I think we know what we want to be defensively. We're building our fundamentals and building our identity. I like what we're doing, but I think there's room for growth as well.
As you say that, what did they do to you all defensively? I mean, you all out-rebounded them, but outside of Reed, he's pretty balanced scoring going with low. What did they do?
Well, I think our ability to handle pressure needs to get better, and I would say that for all 5 of our players out there. And we're going to be able to do that in a number of ways. But I think the biggest thing is the fundamentals of the game. I mean, it's passing and catching, it's getting in a triple threat position, it's looking to attack under control. And then within our offense too, it's a whole different deal from last year, and so our guys have really done a good job buying in and trying to learn it and learn everything we're doing. But I think we're in the process right now we're kind of getting through the learning the plays and remembering where I'm supposed to go. And now we need to get into the phase of not only do I need to get open right there, I need to get open at the right time with the right cut and be able to rip through and make the next play. And so I think our scoring will hopefully become a little bit more efficient as time goes on as we kind of work through that process.
Jerod, did you see yourself on that pregame video when you were looking up there?
I did.
What'd you think?
I think Mike Lickert, who's in charge of the video stuff, is a good friend of mine, so he probably felt bad and wanted to put me in there, so I appreciate that. But no, but Coach Self actually said before the game, and you know, it's a neat deal that it was a conscious decision for them to put me up there, and certainly appreciate it.
Coach, you were a little disappointed in the second half against St. Mary's with your team's toughness. How do you feel like they held up today?
I thought our intent was really good. I thought, you know, again, we've talked about core values of our program, and toughness is one of them. And I think our guys they're trying to do the right thing. I think we are a tough-minded team, but I also think, kind of whatever percentage, I don't know that we're to our end destination yet. We're not to the end goal yet, and I think we can grow as a team. And one of the areas we can grow is just the idea of being tough-minded at all times. And that's not just loose balls and charges. It's running the offense when you're fatigued. It's sprinting back on defense every time. It's talking every time. So I do think we have some room for growth there, but I like where we're at this point.
And then just finally, you have a long break now between games. What are some of the things, besides what you've already talked about, that you want to work on during that stretch?
Well, I told our team that, you know, we have finals right now, and that's, as you know, is an important time at Stanford. And we're going to give our guys plenty of time to study. They're going to do a great job academically. But these next 2 weeks are very important for our team. And I ventured to say that maybe the most important 2 weeks of our season. The last time we've had really a focused practice on our own selves was November 3rd. And so these next 2 weeks are going to be really important for us. You know, the last month we've always had either a day off or a travel day or a day before the game where we're prepping for a new team. And so I think the next 2 weeks are going to be very important for some guys to get their rest, for some guys to get our conditioning up, for everybody to get their shots up, and for everybody also to really understand not only what the offense is and what the defense is, but then work on our execution through it. So the next 2 weeks are vital for the success of this team, and I think the guys understand that, and it'll be a great 2 weeks.
With you and Christian having KU ties, do you guys have any conversations about looking forward to this game ahead of it or anything?
A little bit, not any in-depth conversations, but Christian was a camper here in the field house. I was the gym head in charge, and also was a camper at North Carolina, and I was in charge there. So he and I do have a relationship that goes back a ways, and it's been a neat relationship, and certainly we share the tie of having some KU connections.
How do you think he handled it playing here for the first time?
I think he did a nice job. You know, I think he does provide he has great leadership abilities, and I think the guys feed off that. I think we do have room to grow in efficiency of our offense, and our point guards need to continue to grow there. But I thought he did really played a steady game.